My interest in acting came from writing, actually. I've been writing since I was very, very little. I always loved telling stories. Even, you know, from the age of 4, I would just make things up and people would be like, wow, so imaginative. So I've been telling stories my whole life, and I only got into acting in year 10 on an off chance because there were no other electives. And I thought, it seems kind of like what I'd be into, I'll give it a go. And so I tried it, found that I loved it, and I was okay. So I don't know, I think I got excited by that new way of telling stories and really connecting with people.
I think it was something that was always there, but I didn't pay attention to till maybe I was 17, 18. I watched a lot of like The Wizard of Oz growing up and thought it was the best thing in the world and used to recreate scenes from it and Grease and all that kind of stuff. But I think acting is something that you know is there, and there's always something cliche but in your heart that you're like, I'm gonna do that thing.
As a kid, my granddad ran a cinema back home in Liberia. I'm from West Africa. And just as a kid, I always I loved movies and went to the movies with my grandparents. I think that's where my interest came from. And since then, I just loved acting and basically trying to do everything I could to act. Every little program or where I felt like they needed an actor, I will try to sign up and try to act. So that's where my interest came from.
Oh, look, I always love movies and stage shows and stuff, looking at that and just sort of seeing a sculpture in the background while the actors are doing their thing. You're sort of looking in the back going, someone had to make that. Like, how did that get there? I sort of wanted to be a part of that as well.
I think I've always been interested in technical theatre and stage management. I remember being super young and seeing The Lion King when I was 3. And I think I can pinpoint that moment as when I fell in love with lighting.
I've been performing throughout all of school and high school, and I've always liked being on stage, but then when I kind of realized that, there's more to a show than just performing, that there are other people that make the show happen, I was like, wow, they do so much for the people and the actors, and I kind of want to be part of that. So it wasn't until about year 10 when I kind of got involved into backstage, and then when I was applying for senior high school, I saw that they had the vet entertainment course through school.
I've always been interested in theatre, and I didn't realise that I had an interest in technical theatre until I saw an STC show, The Irresistible Rise of Arturo Ui, where they did a lot of live video broadcasting onto a big LED screen, and they had people in blacks on stage running around, and it kind of got me thinking, surely these people must be qualified from somewhere to do this. So I started researching, technical theatre, stuff like that. And I found the NIDA course and I was obsessed.
I've always sort of liked building things. I started in high school doing drama and acting. And then as I progressed through high school, top of high school, year 11, 12, I guess, I started helping out with behind the scenes stuff, bump-ins. I would be there building the set as it came in and stuff.
My grandma sewed. And then my mum had a quilting stage, and I think I got the back end of her quilting stage. So I helped her make a few quilts, and then she kind of got over it, and then I didn't do the quilting, but I was obsessed with fabrics and just the act of sewing, just putting two things together, and it's a new thing, and you're like, whoa. And my dad also, he used to import textiles from Korea, so I always had surplus of fabrics in the garage. I could just go down and rummage and things.
I think a lot of it started from fashion. I was always very much in love with Alexander McQueen. I come from the very theatrical fashion, but then I loved watching theatre on stage and having raw emotions out there. And then also, weirdly enough, horror houses, I just love the sense of safely feeling emotion. And so I wanted to know how to design to have people feel these emotions. So that's where I come to design to do that, yeah.